Hey there, Chase here, and let's get right to the point. I love platformers, absolutely cherish them. I've had a deep love with the Super Mario franchise for most of my life, among other things. So nothing would be more fitting to kick off the channel by talking about one of my favorite platformers of recent times, Celeste. If you have not played this game before, there are so many things that are breathtaking about it. It's probably one of my favorite games of all time. I would go on about why this game is a masterpiece, but I would probably be repeating several points that you've heard from so many other YouTubers. So instead, I will be ranking the game's 8 chapters. This goes without saying, but there will be several spoilers for a majority of Celeste if you haven't finished the game before. If you don't want to know what happens during the game, turn back now. Along with this, my ranking of these chapters are 100% subjective in my opinion. Chances are your opinion will be different. If you want to share your ranking of the chapters, go ahead. Just be sure to be kind and respectful when doing so. Finally, if there is anything I could improve in this video, please let me know. Without any further delays, let's get into the ranking. At the bottom of my list is the Celestial Resort. So, Celeste is a platformer with an omnidirectional dash maneuver. A great majority of the challenges in the game are very open and heavily based on the dash. The Celestial Resort laughs in the face of this and offers a claustrophobic timing-based gameplay that can get very annoying at times. Now, don't get me wrong, this level is not bad. It is very solid at times, especially near the end. But this cannot save how tight several of the rooms are and how obnoxious the timing-based challenges can truly be at times. Along with this, all of the levels in Celeste have at least one gimmick that are almost exclusive to that chapter, ranging from bubbles to feathers to bumpers and so on. However, the Celestial Resort has practically no exclusive gimmicks. This, in my opinion, is also a big negative to this level. Many will praise this level's simplified gameplay, but I believe robbing the level from any gimmicks makes this chapter kind of boring at times. And whoa! I see you in the comments typing that the black dust bunnies throughout the level is the stage's gimmick, but honestly I just see them as spikes with slightly larger hitboxes. Overall, a decent enough level with timing-based gameplay and pretty much no gimmicks. At number 7, I have the true final level of this game, the core. Most people seem to really enjoy this level, and some also call it their favorite chapter in this game, but I believe it is overrated. It all has to do with the stage's 2 main gimmicks. The temperature switching is amazing. To me, Matt Makes Games took the generic lava cave style level and merged it with the generic ice cave style level and fleshed it down to my favorite stage mechanic in the entire game. But ironically enough, this stage also has my least favorite stage gimmick in the game. Remember how I said that most of the platforming in Celeste is very open and based around the dash, and how the Celestial Resort tossed this out of the window by including more timing-based gameplay? Well, the core fixed the tighter spaces, but ruined it by limiting the amount of dashes you can do. You don't refresh your dash whenever you touch the ground in this level, which is just dumb. This gimmick royally messes up the level for me, especially when you have to bounce on a series of frozen fireballs. It gets really annoying. Also, the level's 5 strawberries are in some trash tier spots, save one exception. Like seriously, the spots are either absurdly obscure, stupidly difficult, or both. However, for a reward for finding 4 crystal hearts, it does deliver. It's very epic a lot of the time, and the music really complements that. Plus, the stuff what they do with the temperature switching is really cool most of the time. Overall, a great level that does what it's supposed to do, and does it well. It's just far from my favorite. I believe we are getting into the truly amazing chapters now. At number 6, I have the Forsaken City. Remember how I said that the Celestial Resort was severely lacking in the unique mechanics department, and how the core's limited dashing made certain sections very annoying? Well, the Forsaken City did away with these problems and gave us a great level. So, what is this stage about? Well, it's about introducing the player to the basic mechanics of dashing, climbing, and momentum. Taught through the stage's mechanics, these traffic light blocks that move when touched. And it does this very well. The first few screens establish how you can use the dash to gain a little extra distance, and then later teaches momentum through the previously stated moving platforms. The best parts of the level, in my opinion, are the last few screens. The difficulty spike near the end is nearly perfect. It puts the player's newfound skills to the test and foreshadows what the rest of the game will be like. Another big plus to the level is just how big it feels. There are tons of little details and small challenge rooms containing strawberries. It really feels like you're in a giant city. I think overall the Forsaken City is a really great level. At number 5 we have the Old Site. So I personally think this level is an improved Forsaken City with more interesting gimmicks and a much better narrative. The stage's main mechanic are these glowy space blocks that you can phase through and regain a dash at the end of, which are activated when we first encounter our main protagonist's dark side, roughly a quarter through the level. This mechanics really works and is insanely fun to use a lot of the time. About at the halfway point, we are properly introduced to our dark side, and a long chase sequence lasting roughly a quarter of the level commences. This is my favorite part of the level because it pulls off story by gameplay really well. Speaking of which, the gameplay here is really good. It's very fast paced with some mild puzzle solving. Finally, the collectibles. While it's not as large as the Forsaken City, the strawberries are still in some great spots with some well designed challenge rooms. Overall, it's a better Forsaken City with better mechanics and gameplay. Kicking off the top half of the list, we have the Mirror Temple. So, I think we can all agree that the Mirror Temple is the creepiest of all the chapters in the game. The first half of the level involves aimlessly wandering a dark, ancient temple with a constant sense of something unknown being just around the corner. The music, entitled Quiet and Falling, is a great reflection of this. The second half of the level is remarkably scary and hostile, as you try to help yourself and your buddy Theo escape from a nightmare dimension, thus ending the chapter. Probably the greatest strength of the stage are its mechanics. The red bubble is great for traveling large distances quickly, and the jeweled platforms that move whenever you dash are great as well. The second half of the level retains these mechanics, but also throws in these fish monsters that chase you around, and the carrying mechanic leads to some really fun challenges. Another big strong suit of the level is its greater emphasis on mild puzzle solving. The first half involves getting keys to certain doors in order to progress, while the second half has you opening up the path for a red bubble. Overall, a cleverly designed level with great mechanics that is also wonderfully creepy in nature. Starting off the top 3, we have the Summit. I believe that the biggest strength of the Summit is how it brings back all of the stage mechanics from the previous chapters, but you are now equipped with the powerful double dash and your dark side to toss you around at the end of each major sub-chapter. The level as a whole has such a great feeling of welcome back, now let's see how you've grown throughout the entire time. My personal favorite section of them all has to be the final one. As you enter the final stretch of the level, you find some checkpoint flags. As these flags count down to 0, and you get closer and closer to the summit, and the gameplay just gets cooler and cooler. Featuring a combination of clouds, golden feathers, and vertical wind, the last segment of the summit is such a treat. Speaking of which, the brief yet entertaining conversations with your dark side between each sub-chapter and when you summit are also really sweet. All of this is skillfully put together to make, in my opinion, one of the best final levels in video game history. But for as big of a masterpiece as this level is, there are 2 more that are just a shred better. Our runner-up on this list is the Golden Ridge. I love the gameplay in this level. Most of it is very open and satisfying to conquer. The stage's mechanics complement this quite nicely. The green bubble gives you a nice boost and refreshes your dash. The clouds give lots of height when needed. The aero platforms are great and their implementation is well done most of the time, and the wind actually works. Most inclusions of wind I've seen end up very annoying a lot of the time, but here it's actually really fun. Sure, it's not perfect, but it's great overall. Another great strong suit for the chapter is its visuals. Yellow and pink is not the greatest color combination out there, but they really made it work here. It's also just generally very colorful with the flags and banners throughout. The strawberries are also in great spots. Most of the time they're out of the way, hiding within extremely well-designed challenge rooms throughout. And the ones out in the open blended in with the regular platforming challenges are just so satisfying to grab. The Golden Ridge is such a great level with lovely visuals, well-designed gameplay, and awesome gimmicks. And at number 1, we have Chapter 6, Reflection. This level is an absolute masterpiece. Man, where to start? Firstly, the stage's mechanics are the best and most fun to use out of the entire game. The grumpy blocks are fun and well implemented, the bumpers are insanely fun to use, especially when they're in a chain, and the golden feather just lets you forget about the game's normal physics and freely fly high around for a couple moments. Also noteworthy is the grand, epic battle with your dark side at the end of the level. Not only does it pull off story through gameplay extremely well, but the gameplay here is a masterpiece. I believe this fight has the best gameplay out of any other moment in the game. Finally, the strawberries. Well, this level has absolutely 0 strawberries in it. I think this is a really nice touch and it instead lets the player focus on the core gameplay. Overall, Reflection is one of the best levels in any platformer to date. It is a masterful combination of gameplay, story, and unique mechanics. So, that was my personal ranking of every chapter in Celeste. If your list is different in any way, please tell me in the comments down below. I would love to talk about it. I would also highly appreciate it if you had any sort of polite, constructive criticism. I would also like it so I could improve the quality of my videos and make them better. Now, all we have to do is impatiently wait for Chapter 9 to come out. It should be any minute now. We're still waiting. Never mind. Well, I guess I'll see you guys later. Bye!